Green all the way in 6A.
Hi, so we're here a few days later, and you can see I've done a lot of work on the table. What I wanted to show you is once you flip your table over, you're going to want to make sure that your legs are nice and even. So what I've done is I have taken books, something very simple that we all have lying around, although you can use whatever you have handy, but books seem to be the most feasible thing because they're different widths and you can adjust them. And what you want to do is you want to put them in between your legs to make sure that they get nice and spread evenly, and you can do that even visually. And then once you've got your books in place here, we can start putting our paper layers, which you can see I've already done. But I wanted to keep one of the table legs raw, just so that I could show you some of the detail work I did to get it all coated with our 3 separate layers. Once you get your books in place, the legs are in place, and now we can start with our layers of paper. And I have some plastic dry cleaner sheets that are old. You can reuse these and cover your books so that you don't get any glue on them. Just something like this. And I mean, you can buy these as well, but you might even be able to go to your local dry cleaner and use some that they're going to throw out, and just, again, go green wherever you can, and recycle, reuse, all that. All right, so now I want to show you how we do our corner. This is our raw corner. And then I completely covered this whole table with this layer of the yellow. And then my second layer was this layer of white, which you can barely see because I have covered it already, with the final layer, which is a book that I cut apart. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But right now I just wanted to show you a little bit of the detail that you have to do. This can be a little tricky with these edges. So what you're going to want to do is take your Mod Podge, or whatever you might be using, and we want to get probably pretty small pieces since we are doing so much detail. And do what I did before, where we put a little on there, coat both sides like this. And you really have to be quite precise. You really want to preserve these wonderful angles that we've made with our cardboard, or whatever design you come up with, but this happens to be the design. And you just go like this. I don't have enough glue on here right now. You need a lot of glue, and then that will stick. But I just wanted to show you that this is it's a little persnickety, but this is how we're doing this. And then you put a little bit more glue on there just to secure everything. Get those corners nice and flat. The more precise, the more your design will come through at the very end. You can see over here on this complete leg that I really took the time to do these angles for all 3 layers. And now this leg is really, really fast, and you can see the different angles. So that is what I have to do now with my 4th leg. I'm going to cover the whole thing with layer number 1, and then I'm going to cover the whole thing with layer number 2, and then I take my little book. Now let me show you stuff about this book. I took an old, very old book. The pages are already yellowing, and what I did was I took about 5 pages and I cut the borders off because I don't want this white. You can see that we don't have much white. It's just all text in the final product. And you just kind of cut off your margins and throw this paper in the recycle bin. This is just so that I have smaller pieces. It's much easier to work with the smaller pieces with all these angles. So that is how I'm going to finish off the table. And you can see I'm almost there with the, just have this one last leg to do. And when I get back, it's probably going to take a while, I will show you how we finish this whole thing off. All right, so look, we have the table. It's complete. It's covered with our book. I think I used, what did I use? Like 158 pages of this book or something. But look at how beautiful this is. The only thing that's left, I've cut 4 little pieces of material and I'm going to glue them. You can actually use the Mod Podge. I'm going to glue them on the bottom just so that you have a nice slidey surface for the table. You don't actually have to do this, but I want to do that to preserve my hardwood floors. I'll glue that on the bottom, and then look, we have our wonderful, wonderful table. It's all done. It's nice and flat. It's secure. We can put our glasses and, you know, our little phones. Look, everything goes right on our table. So that is it. And if you want, you could buy the antiquing Mod Podge that makes it yellow. Makes it look a little bit older, but I used old paper anyway, so the color is kind of built in. What I probably will do is also put another layer of Mod Podge on the top just to give it a nice even surface, make it a little bit more plasticky. The other thing I might also do is buy some polyurethane and make it waterproof, because this is water soluble. So if you spill liquid on it, it may get a little soft. So I would be careful of that. But I am going to try putting poly on this to see if we can seal it and make it nice and shiny. So as you can see, there are many, many options that you can do in finishing this. But for now, I have my own little coffee table that I've made out of cardboard. So thank you so much for joining me during this first episode of Green All the Way in 6A.
Green all the way in 6A.